Alright, so I paid $995 for Ali Abdaal's YouTube course, and there were 3 things I wasn't really expecting. Number 3 especially made me rethink some stuff. But let's start with the first one that stood out to me, and that is how every video is made not to perfection, but to have one very simple and clear goal. Ali's videos are not trying to reach everyone with every video. Each one is laser focused on a specific person with one specific problem. And this honestly made me realize something about my own channel that I'd been doing completely wrong. You see, what I usually see in my own uploads is that every video I release feels like a continuation of the one before. It's almost as if I didn't finish what I wanted to say previously, so I just continue it in my next video. I'm basically creating for people who have already watched my last video, my returning audience. But the way Ali does it is that every video is a standalone piece. If you scroll through his channel, it looks chaotic at first. He's doing productivity one day, then business concept, then study tips, then tech reviews. There's no obvious pattern, no clear niche, and before I took his course, I thought that was a mistake. Now that I've gone through 20 hours of his content, it became crystal clear to me that those videos are deliberate. Each video is created with a specific audience in mind, not his entire subscriber base. They don't follow a predictable pattern. It's meant to look random, but the audience targeting is incredibly specific. Like, one video might be for a father working 9 to 5 who wants to build a side hustle so he's not trapped in his job forever. That video could be titled something like how to start a $1,000 a month side hustle while working full-time. Then the next video might target young content creators who dream of producing creative videos for a living but don't know how to make it financially viable yet. That title might be 3 ways to pay your bills while building your creative career. The key here is to tie it back to one theme. So both those examples I just gave might fall under financial freedom. Ali's entire channel ultimately centers around productivity and intentional living. But he also experiments with business concepts, money strategies, and even personal development. But the biggest one for me in all this is it's not only about targeting specific audiences, he's also deliberately creating videos to pull in new viewers. Videos aimed at new audiences often don't perform as well with returning subscribers because they might repeat an old topic or cover something familiar. And that's actually completely okay. Those videos aren't for them. They're entry points for people who have never heard of Ali before. New audience growth is absolutely necessary if you want to scale your channel. You cannot rely on returning viewers alone. What I mean is, both new and returning audiences have their own value, and before you even hit record, you need to be clear about what that specific video's intention is. If you want to sell a product, answer deeper questions, or provide advanced tips, that's for returning viewers. If you need to grow your community or bring in fresh faces, you create for new viewers, which is probably repeating a similar high-performing topic but adding a current trend or fresh angle to it. My biggest mistake is I've been almost exclusively creating for returning viewers. I've been making videos as if everyone watching has already seen my last 5 uploads, and that's why my growth stalled. I wasn't opening the door for new people to walk in. Alright, so the next big surprise to me is around retention and CTR. Small channels like mine has a massive disadvantage. We don't actually know what a good retention rate is or what a good click-through rate look like. We're just shooting in the dark, but big channels knows exactly what those numbers are and what is realistic. And to add on top of that frustration, YouTube gurus out there are claiming they know what numbers you should hit. They'll tell you that you need 70% audience retention and 13% CTR, or your video is pretty much dead in the water. But Ali Abdaal taught me something that honestly gave me so much relief, because those numbers actually don't matter as much as you think. Now, I'm not saying that your stats can be horrible. It can't be like 5% audience retention rate or 2% CTR. That itself is a problem. But I'm also not saying that you need to hit those ridiculously high numbers that the YouTube gurus out there taught you. The good thing about this course is that I get to see real insights and data from big channels like Ali Abdaal's. Because what bothers me most about all this YouTube advice out there is how they claim they know all these stats, but they never actually back it up or prove it with real data. Unless, of course, you join their course, but by then it's already too late because you can't tell if they're being honest or not. So having Ali share those stats with people who joined his course actually gave me genuine relief. Now, I won't reveal his exact numbers. I don't think that's fair to him, nor is it fair to those who paid for his course. But I can say two things that completely shifted my perspective. First, the numbers are not as high as the gurus claim. In fact, my retention rate and my CTR are about the same as Ali Abdaal's videos. And that made me so hopeful because I thought I was failing all this time. And second, even with what some would claim low CTR or low retention rate, you can still go viral. Some of the stats I saw in the course showed Ali getting millions of views even though the CTR is lower than mine. Let that sink in for a second. A video with lower CTR than mine getting millions of views. Because ultimately, it isn't the stats that matters the most. It is the engagement that drives the video forward. So how do you get that engagement? Controversial topics, bold statements, relevancy to what's happening right now, current events, trendy angles, just to name a few. The stats will follow you if you nail the engagement piece first. And finally, the biggest one of all, a proper working system that is unique to your channel. Many people underestimate the power of a system. Ali talks a lot about building systems throughout the course. And honestly, 80% of what he teaches comes down to this. But what do I mean by a system? It's basically a working process or workflow that you can repeat step by step to get the same outcome every time. Like topic research to scripting, to filming, to editing, to launch. That's a system. Think of them like cogs in a machine. Each cog works together to move the whole thing forward. But here's what most channels don't do. They don't refine each individual cog in that system. Each part of your process can be further improved and optimized, but it takes time and effort. It's honestly a hassle, so most people just skip it, and I know this because I'm one of those people. But a working system can help reduce the amount of time and effort you spend on repetitive tasks. It frees up your time so you can focus on getting that video out faster and better. Because growing a channel is about putting videos out there, not spending all your time producing them. Like I said, 80% of the course is about systems. But how does Ali Abdaal actually build his system? I could create a course of my own if I were to explain everything in detail, but here's what I can quickly summarize. First, invest in software tools, plugins, and subscriptions, like Epidemic Sound, which I use as well. For me, it isn't just about the music I can get from there, it's about how it integrates seamlessly with Premiere Pro. I can easily search, download, and drop music into my project without breaking my workflow. You also have tools like Canva, which now has YouTube thumbnail templates that are almost on par with top performing videos. You save a ton of time not having to hire someone and go back and forth with revisions. So consider investing in tools that actually grow your channel and save you time. Don't just buy stuff because it's popular. Buy stuff that removes friction from your process. Another thing, and this one isn't really an investment, but more about spending time to understand, is how AI can assist you. Ali uses AI for a lot of things, but not in the way you probably imagine. Most people think AI is the lazy person's way out, and that's probably what 90% of people believe. But the 10% of smart creators, they're using it as an AI assistant, not to have AI do things they're too lazy to do, but to help them get things done faster. So if you're against AI, I dare say it's because you have got the wrong understanding of it due to all the noise out there. You need to start learning how to use AI in a way where it actually helps you, not replaces you. I use AI all the time now, as my brainstorming buddy, as my assistant when I'm stuck on the script and looking for solutions. But just remember that AI is not 100% correct. That's why you still need to know what you're doing and not blindly follow the output. You're the creative, AI is the assistant. Let's just keep it that way. Building system takes time, but it is definitely worthwhile in my opinion. It just makes them much cleaner. I've already started building systems that work for me thanks to the advice from Ali Abdaal, and I've gone one step up and automated any process I find repetitive. The aim here is really to free myself up so that I can focus on what matters most. So be sure to check out this video here. Okay then, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.